This episode is brought to you by The Quintessentials, empowering women with the 9 tools to accomplish anything. For information on upcoming workshops in Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco, go to thequintessentials.com.
I know a lot of people use the word woo-woo. I just personally prefer not to use it because it's used to describe unconventional beliefs regarded as having little or no scientific basis, especially those relating to spiritual mysticism or alternative medicine. It's also a way to discard our true nature. Energy healing is ancient. Modern medicine has only been around since the 1800s. Relinquish our own powers as healers. This is who we originally are, though. And so when someone says, oh, that woo-woo stuff, it kind of devalues who we are, essentially.
Hello and welcome to Sound, Mind, and Body, a podcast where we interview inspiring people about the many different ways to stay healthy, balanced, and well of mind, body, and spirit in today's crazy world. I'm your host, Sheila Melody, a certified health and wellness coach, owner of a strength training studio in Los Angeles, and a lifelong seeker of what it takes to live your best balanced life. And today we are talking about Chinese energy healing. Chinese energy healing, also viewed as subconscious hacking, removes hidden issues, traumas, and patterns from the subconscious mind, the central nervous system, the 7 subtle bodies, chakras, and all 12 systems of the body so one can live their life with ease and manifest the relationships, career, abundance, and joy they desire. Our guest today is Chinese energy healing practitioner Garz Chan. In addition to her energy healing practice, Garze is also certified in Kundalini Yoga, DNA Theta healing, Aroma Touch, quantum touch therapy, Innergetics, 5th dimensional quantum healing, Akashic Records, Pranic healing, the emotion code, and is a master integrated energy therapist and NLP practitioner. She has also studied psychic mediumship with notable teachers, including Lisa Williams, Tony Stockwell, Thomas John, medium Fleur and Colby Rebel, and has completed a course in Astral Travel at the International Academy of Consciousness. Wow. What, I can't even imagine what she has to offer here. So Garze believes in magic and miracles, and her purpose is assisting others in living their potential and divine purpose. And her world vision is a planet full of psychic healing superheroes. Now that sounds what I would like to live in. Welcome to the podcast, Garze.
Oh, thank you, Sheila. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Wow, what a list of credentials and experience you have. You're just like you are a psychic healing superhero. So how did you get into doing this?
Well, when I was a child, I was I've always been highly sensitive. I've always been an empath. So I was able to feel spirit energies around me and see things. But it wasn't until my son it was his first winter, and he had 7 colds back to back, with 1 or 2 days in between of wellness. And I thought there's something not right here, something wrong. So I contacted a healer who put me in touch with his master, who gave us a 20-minute phone session. In those 20 minutes, he did not work on my son. He actually worked on me and my then husband. The next day, my son was well.
Oh my gosh.
And stayed well. And I thought, what did this man do? He did not see us. He did not work on my son. And so he was giving some kind of lecture demonstration at the Bodhi Tree bookstore on Melrose at the time. It is now closed. So I decided to go down and meet this Jedi master. And I watched him work on people in the room for 1 minute, 2 minutes. He worked on this one lady she was a retired judge. She got into a car accident. She wasn't able to brush her hair for 15 years because she didn't have the mobility in her arm, in her shoulder to be able to touch her hair. And he worked on her for like a minute or two, and then she was able to touch her hair for the first time in 15 years. And she just started crying, and we all started crying. And it was such a moving moment. But he created that over and over and over again. And so afterwards, I went up to him and I wanted to acknowledge him for his amazing skill. And that's when he convinced me that anyone could do it and I could do it and I should come to a workshop. And I was like, oh, no. I'm not going to come to a workshop. I can't. That's not me. Yeah, that's not. But my mum was visiting from England. And so I came home and I said to my mum, you should come and take this workshop because everyone says that you're a natural healer. You have this healing energy about you. You're retired. You have the time. Go and learn this workshop, and then you can, work on the family. But my mum is naturally intuitive and she's very smart. So she said to me, I'll tell you what, I'll pay for you for your birthday. I'll gift it to you. And I said, no, I don't want to go. I'm not a healer. I don't want to learn this. I don't know how to do it. But she said, well, why don't you go learn it and work on your son? Oh. And that's what hooked me.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I couldn't go for myself, but I thought, well, if I can go and learn something to work on my son, then maybe it'll be worth it. And so I was very reluctant, but one workshop turned into 12 workshops. And then I just, everything else followed.
You had a gift that was opened, opened up, and you're like, so, busy now. Like when I did, book a session with you that we'll talk about later in the podcast, but it's like you're booked over a month out, so it's, you're fully doing this. So how did you do something before and then transition into this? How did you do that?
Well, I have to say for 5 years after I went to my first workshop, I still was very reluctant. Mm-hmm. So for 5 years afterwards, I would work on people because they asked me to or begged me to, but it wasn't something that I volunteered. And in my mind, I still was a novice. I was just practicing. I was just learning this new skill. And I really did not want to become a healer. Mm-hmm. I did not see myself as a healer person. And it wasn't until I got divorced that I got really frustrated with the universe. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? What do you want? Like, do you want me to be this healer type person? Because I don't really see myself as a healer. But if that's what you want for me, if that's how you think that I will make a difference in the world, then you need to bring me enough clients to fill a full-time practice in the next 2 weeks. I was very unreasonable.
Right.
And in 2 weeks, I had a full-time practice.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
But instead of going, yay, that's amazing, thank you, I was scared and I was shocked and I was like, really? Are you sure? Is this some kind of joke? Or and I really questioned it for a couple of years, even though the clients kept rolling in. Wow.
And then did you see just how you were changing people's lives and, more people, and now you teach.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. I just want to talk a little bit more about the Chinese energy healing practice itself. Mm-hmm. Is it different or specific, or, there's a lot of different energy healing modalities, as I see you're certified in and practiced in. Mm-hmm. So what is different about what you do?
Because I've been certified in a few different modalities, what I do has really evolved. Mm-hmm. But I would say essentially what I do is I clear past life. Well, in the third dimension, in the 3D, we call it past lives, right? But in the fifth dimension, in the 5D, there is no past, present, or future. So it's another form of parallel lives. But because society is not ready to move into the 5D, we'll just call it past lives for now. But essentially, I clear past life traumas. I clear past life karmic debts, karmic cycles, karmic lessons, karmic ties. But I also clear trapped or blocked emotions, traumas, limiting beliefs from this lifetime as well. So it's a kind of like a mixed bag.
So when someone comes to you, you just ask them, what is something you want to work on? Or do you just intuitively get it? What if they say, I don't know. What should I do? Can you work with them that way?
Yes, because as soon as you drop into someone's energy field, the information is going to come up.
Wow.
And oftentimes when people say, I want to work on this, say, for example, they want to work on a relationship, or they want to work on, a breakup, or they want to work on a phobia. When you drop in, there's hundreds and thousands of things that come up that have nothing to do with the breakup, that have nothing to do with the person, that have nothing to do with the phobia. So it doesn't matter what they say. It's just a introduction.
So interesting. Do you find that most of us or all of us have something that should be cleared?
Yes. Otherwise we wouldn't be here, right?
I guess so. That's true. We would be ascended masters. Right?
If there's nothing to work on, there's no reason for us to be here.
That is true. That's true. So what are some examples? Can you give us a couple examples of somebody, I know that on your website you have some videos. So if somebody's interested and they're listening, you can go to your website, which is ChineseEnergyHealing.com. And there are some videos of you working with people. Mm-hmm. But do you have any very interesting examples? I know I follow you on social media. So I also see people, things that you're putting up there all the time.
Thank you.
Clients that have achieved success and, cleared things.
Yeah.
So let's give the listeners a few interesting examples.
Okay. So many to choose from.
I bet. I know you've been doing this and, you're so busy. It's amazing.
Well, there was a man who came to see me. He got into a car accident. He couldn't move his back. So he couldn't sit or stand without pain. He was going into back surgery. And so he wanted to see what he could do to avoid back surgery. So I worked on him and I cleared some karmic issues and some emotional traumas and psychic stuff that he was picking up on from his sister-in-law because she was pregnant. Bits and pieces here and there. And then afterwards, he was able to sit, he was able to stand, bend at the hip, and jump up and down, and he had no pain whatsoever.
Oh my goodness.
And he was able to avoid surgery.
Wow.
There was another guy who came to see me. He was a VP of a construction company. He had this client for 15 years who refused to give him his bonus. Mm-hmm. And his contract stated, when he completes a project within a certain deadline, he will get his bonus. But for 15 years, he did not get his bonus. But he didn't want to turn down the work because it was a really good client.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, so why now? Why after 15 years are you coming to? And he said, well, because the bonus is $4 million. And I cannot swallow that. And so he said, look, I to be honest with you, I don't know if I believe in what you do, but I'm just going out on a limb here because I'm desperate.
Right, exactly. For $4 million, I'll try anything.
I'll try anything. I'll believe in anything as long as it works.
Yes, right.
So I was like, oh, wow, okay, I understand that. But I just said to him, well, we'll see what we do. We'll see what I can do. Right? I don't guarantee anything because there's no guarantees in life. So I just cleared out the karmic issues between him and his client. And it turned out that that there were lifetimes of them robbing each other, taking money from each other, sabotaging each other's businesses. They'd been family members, all this kind of stuff. So I had to clear all of that. And then 2 weeks later, he got his $4 million. First time ever.
Oh my gosh. That is so awesome.
So that's really amazing. But, and people come to me with some really strange requests. Like this woman came to me, she said, I'm going through a foreclosure. I need you to help. And I was like, oh, I've never worked on a foreclosure before. I don't even know where to begin.
Like, you're an expert in everything, right? It's like...
But I thought, well, I'll just go in the way that I know how. So I just cleared all the karmic issues between her and the realtor and the banks and, and just everyone. I thought, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll just do that. I'll just clear all the karmic issues.
Right.
And I think we had about 4 sessions. I think she had like 2 sessions a week, maybe 4 or 5 sessions. And then some woman offered her a briefcase full of money to buy her house outright.
Oh my gosh.
And I couldn't have told you, that was how it was going to end, but that was how it manifested.
That is amazing. Well, all right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about a little bit about my first experience with you.
Okay.
You've heard me talk about my experience working with the amazing life coach, Andrea Quinn. Andrea facilitates powerful and intelligent women's groups where she teaches her curriculum called The Quinn Essentials, 9 tools to accomplish anything. Andrea's tools empower women to accomplish their goals, follow their dreams, and finish their projects, all while not sacrificing themselves in the process. Yes, you heard it. You can have the life you want without losing yourself along the way. I can personally attest to the effectiveness of Andrea's powerful workshops and credit my success and growth over the last 2 years to applying the Quinn Essentials. In fact, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast right now if I hadn't made the decision to take Andrea's course in 2016. My life began to change and continues to improve as I apply the 9 tools. The good news is registration is now open for these life-altering women's accomplishment weekends in Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco. Go to thequintessentials.com, register today, and empower your life now. That's thequintessentials.com.
Hey, it's Tim Edwards with the Inbound Podcasting Network and producer of Sound, Mind, and Body. Just the fact that you're listening to the Sound, Mind, and Body podcast tells us that you enjoy consuming your content through your ears. Now, if you're a podcast listener, you're a perfect fit to enjoy audiobooks. So for you, our listeners and official members of Sheila's Woo Woo community, Audible is offering you a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial to check out their awesome service. Give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose. It's absolutely free for 30 days, and you get a free audiobook to keep even if you don't continue with the subscription. Support Sound, Mind, and Body by visiting audibletrial.com/inbound. That's audibletrial.com/inbound. We'll include a link in the show notes, or just click the Audible banner at soundmindbodypodcast.com.
On the next episode of Sound, Mind, and Body, we are talking about sweet freedom. And by that, I mean freedom from sugar. Our guest is food philosopher and nutritionist Sherry Strong.
In brain scans, they're showing that refined sugar lights up the brain's dopamine receptors 8 times more than cocaine. And what we're seeing now is that sugar is directly connected to over 146 diseases and conditions. We all want to be healthy, not have disease. The journey's different for every single person because, there's so much, it's so complex that navigating it is impossible to do on your own.
That's next week on Sound, Mind, and Body. Okay, we are back and we're talking to Chinese energy healing expert, practitioner, Garz Chan. So before we took the break, we were talking about some examples of people that you've worked with. So I had one session with you. This was about a month ago. And just to see what you do and how you work. And I have to say that one session was quite profound because we got on the phone and I didn't even see your face. You know, we were just on the telephone and you said, okay, what do you want to work on? And I was like, well, you know, I'm going through these, you know, I'm trying to expand my whole life, you know, like basically play bigger, you know, not play small anymore. And you just said, okay, let me just think here for a minute. And you just came out with this, like within a minute or so, you said, what happened when you were 4 years old? And I was like, oh, I don't know, you know, like, I don't even know. I don't remember this. And you said something happened when you were 4 years old with your mother. And I didn't even really, you know, maybe if I sat and thought about it, I could, you know, come up with something. But the only thing I could think of was a Christmas morning where I was a little girl and my mom came out and we had 6 kids, you know, so there were a lot of kids. And she was like annoyed, you know, and it was like Christmas morning and we're all excited. And she was kind of annoyed. And so I just went with that, right? And you cleared it. And so talk about your process of how you clear things, because you were saying like numbers and clearing different, I don't know, you know, I just listened and it was just really cool. I loved it. So what are you doing there?
So when the client is telling me what the issue is or what they want to work on, information is coming in. So sometimes I see numbers or I see words or I see dates or ages, or sometimes I see snippets of things from other lifetimes. And then when I start working or clearing, it comes in so fast. I never get the beginning, middle, and end of any story. I just get a snippet and I have to interpret that very quickly. The numbers is to do with, you know, what percentage does it affect the client and or how many times has this happened?
Oh,
or
interesting.
How many generations back does it go? Is it 5,000 generations or is it 100,000s of generations?
Wow.
Does it affect them 2,000% or 500,000%? You know, how often has this happened? It could be millions, trillions. So yeah, I count when I'm working. Yeah.
Yes, it's very interesting. And then you also asked me to tell me, you were like, okay, think about this and tell me where you're feeling it in your body. Mm-hmm. And that particular thing, I was feeling it in my heart, you know, and then you did the clearing. And then we worked on another issue, which was I was going through this lawsuit and with a former business partner. And you said, you know, where are you feeling this in your, you know, and I felt that in my gut, you know, kind of in my solar plexus. And you started to clear this and I felt that leave me. I swear to God, I felt it leave my body. And I started to cry a little bit, you know, it just was automatic. And I feel like crying now, but anyway, it's, since I had that session with you, that lawsuit settled and it's been going on for over a year. And the whole thing has been going on for like almost 2 years.
Wow.
So it's settled, you know?
Congratulations.
So thank you. But I feel like just doing that one clearing, I don't know if it helps. What is it? So when I did the introduction, I talked about the 7 subtle bodies because I got that from your website, what this is. So there are different subtle bodies of energy that we might be holding on to things, or how does that translate?
So, you know, you're an electromagnetic being, you have your physical body, you have your aura, which consists of your 7 subtle bodies. So when we store things, we store memories, traumas, emotions, painful experiences in our body. So not just in the physical body, but in our subtle bodies as well. Okay. Right. So we don't just store things in the mind. So when I ask you to drop into that pain, where are you holding it? That's where you that memory, that experience, you were holding it in your heart. So when we experience trauma, we start holding on to these memories in our bodies. Mm-hmm. And then every time we get triggered, that sensation or that energy gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay, I see.
So fast forward, you're an adult. Something triggers you. You don't react from the adult self. Mm-hmm. You go right back to that 4-year-old.
Right.
And that's where we respond. We respond and we react when we are triggered from that wounded child.
Wow. And
that's what makes us react in a way that's defensive or insecure or irrationally or emotionally, right? When we get triggered, we react because it's raw. It's the 4-year-old self that is still wounded. So we store memories, traumas, emotions in certain parts of our bodies. So as I clear, it will release from that part of your body. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the bodies, even the subtle bodies, it releases, and then it opens you up to, attracting new things or actually manifesting what you really want. Because are those blocking you from?
Well, yes, it frees you up. It stops you from blocking what you want to come in, mm-hmm. and things that are for your highest good to come in. Right.
Right. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. I mean, I just know that I need to come work with you more because I really believe in this, and you have a very profound gift. And you're versed in so many different aspects of energy healing. Like when I introduced you, some of them I've never heard of. Like, what is DNA, theta healing? Now, I think I might understand the 5th dimensional quantum healing because you were talking about the 5th dimension as opposed to the 3rd dimension. But can you talk about it a little bit about DNA, theta healing and those things and how they're I'd just never heard of them before.
Yeah. So DNA, theta healing is changing the DNA. It's removing things at the DNA level.
Wow.
And like Chinese energy healing, it also uses muscle testing. But with DNA theta healing, you test the conscious mind, whereas with Chinese energy healing, you're always working the subconscious.
Okay.
So say, for example, a client comes to me and they say, I'm going through a breakup and I'm in a lot of pain. So with DNA theta healing, I would test what percentage is this breakup affecting the client and how often or how many times have they gone through a breakup, right? So we're working the conscious mind, but you're also going to source to get the answers from source. Whereas with Chinese energy healing, someone says to me, I'm going for a breakup. Can you help? There are hundreds and thousands of issues that are linked to the breakup, and it may have nothing to do with the breakup.
Right. So you're also a teacher, as we mentioned earlier. What types of classes or workshops do you offer?
Well, I have a level 1, level 2, and level 3. And my workshops are really to help beginners activate their dormant gifts. And they get to practice and strengthen all their clairs. Clairvoyance is seeing, clairsentience is feeling, clairaudient is hearing, claircognizant is knowing. You have the smelling and tasting too, but I don't really work on the smelling and tasting. But it's psychic development, not to give psychic readings, not to become a psychic, but psychic development is really important for them to tune into energies.
Right.
And to receive information from the client. And I teach a bunch of different energy healing modalities. Each workshop changes because I get downloads in between the workshops that I keep including. I teach energy healing, Akashic Records, quantum jumping, psychic mediumship, medical mediumship, all kinds of stuff.
I love it. I am, you know what? I'm very interested. I'm going to check out your course. I really am interested in this.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to try to take one of your workshops this year.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
Okay, so let's go to the sound, mind, and body questions.
Mm-hmm.
So in this lifetime, how do what you're doing all this, you're interacting with all these people's energies and things all the time. So how do you stay in your own personal life? How do you stay of sound, mind, and body?
I have a lot of good habits that I get to perform on a daily basis to keep me grounded and centered and balanced. So the first thing that I do is I always have a vegan protein shake with flax seeds, hemp seeds, and acai powder.
Ooh, no.
Start my day. I always give thanks to the universe for all of my blessings. I set the intention for my day. I set the intention for everything, but I really set my intention for the day. I call in my master guides, master teachers, master healers to guide me through every single session. I always give thanks for the type of clients that I receive. I listen to binaural beats. I clear myself in between sessions. I meditate between sessions. I play binaural beats throughout the session. I play binaural beats all night.
Oh, wow.
I listen to audiobooks every night, minimum 2 hours.
You're kidding. Oh, what kind of audiobooks do you like? What type of audiobooks? I just started kind of doing
many. Yeah, I started audiobooks because, I've been reading to my son for 12 years and I thought, I want someone to read to me.
Exactly. That is so perfect. Yes.
So I started listening to audiobooks and I'm like, I love this. I'd say I've listened to like 18 of Eckhart Tolle's books.
Oh, okay. I should start doing that because I started listening to audiobooks in the car. I listen to them all the time, but then I started to do it right, when I'm laying down to go to sleep to listen. Just like you said, I love that, someone reading to me, but I'm very aware of like, what am I listening to right before I go to sleep? If it's some, like crazy memoir or something, I don't want that in my mind. So yeah, listening to something like that would be amazing.
Yeah, I like listening to Eckhart Tolle before I go to sleep because he has a really soothing voice. His voice is kind of like meditative, and I'm interested in the things that he has to say. So I listen to Eckhart Tolle or anyone really that I'm drawn to. I eat my vegetables every day. And
good.
I travel as much as I can. And when I do travel, I like to be, in nature. I do yoga.
Those are all wonderful things. It sounds great. I need to go get a little more ritualistic about I am a little bit, but I need to add a few things in, I think. So what's a favorite sound?
I really love the sound of playing and laughing children.
Ah, yes.
I love that. I love hearing my son laugh. I love to hear birds chirping. I love listening to waterfalls, rivers, lakes. I love the sound of the wind rustling through trees.
Lovely.
And music. I love all kinds of music too.
Ah, lovely. Wonderful sounds. All of them. Okay, so what is a favorite memory?
This is going to sound quite morbid, but one of my favorite memories is when my granddad, he passed, he crossed over. But what was really special about it is he died holding my hand.
Oh my goodness.
And I was singing to him whilst it happened. And I told him to go because he was holding on.
Oh my gosh. How old were you?
I think I was 19.
Wow. That's incredible.
And it was a really profound, poetic, beautiful gift that washed me with a deep peace.
How interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very special.
But I do want to add to that. I know, in the society that we live in the 3D world, people see death as the end, and I don't perceive it that way. It's just
transition.
It's a transition. It's a returning to home. It's, letting go, detaching from the physical form, the matter, which is not our permanent state. So in case some of your listeners are like, her favorite memory is the death of her granddad. She's twisted.
No, I think my listeners will love that. Actually, they will think that that's very, very special. Okay. So what is a favorite place?
I love Tulum. I love the white sandy beaches in Tulum. I loved the rainforest in Costa Rica. I love the caustic rocks and emerald rivers in Vietnam. I love the Amazon jungle in Peru. Yeah, anywhere where there's just pure, just natural beauty.
Yeah.
Of the earth, I love.
Beautiful. All of those places sound amazing. Okay, so the final question, this is an interesting change for us because we usually ask, what's the most woo-woo thing you've ever done? So when I was preparing for this interview, I sent the question to Garz, and she has an opinion about the word woo-woo. So I wanted you to share that with everybody. So let's talk about that.
Okay. I know a lot of people use the word woo-woo. I just personally prefer not to use it because it's used to describe unconventional beliefs regarded as having little or no scientific basis, especially those relating to spiritual mysticism or alternative medicine. It's also a way to discard our true nature. Energy healing is ancient. Modern medicine has only been around since the 1800s. And then also speaking with spirit, connecting with spirit, we've been doing this since mankind began. I mean, the Mongol leader, Genghis Khan, used shamans to communicate with the spirit realm back in the 1100s and the 1200s. And in the Piscean age, it was all about religion and dogma. So we were raised to not listen to our intuition. We were raised to not communicate with the spirit realm. We were raised to relinquish our own powers as healers, right? Because everyone has the ability to heal. Everyone is psychic, but we've relinquished all of that throughout the Piscean age so that we can be controlled. So this is who we originally are, though. And so when someone says, oh, that woo-woo stuff, it kind of devalues who we are, essentially.
Yeah, I see that. I think I really love your take on that. And I'm really appreciative that you shared that because it's empowering, And of course, I never meant the word woo-woo to be in that way because I love stuff like this. I absolutely love it and I live it. And that's why I started the podcast. But I thought it was important for you to share that because I believe that too, that we are all, powerful beings and we have, we're just brushing it off like, oh, that's just woo woo,
Right.
But let's all become the psychic superhero healers that we are, right?
Yes, but we need to remember who we truly are.
Yes, let's remember who we truly are.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you sharing that and your whole story, Garz. This has been a very, very interesting podcast. And I am stating it here on this episode that I'm going to take one of your workshops and maybe that will lead to more and more and more, but I'm super, super interested in this, and I will do that.
Okay.
So I'll follow up with you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
It's been a pleasure. Well, that's it for this episode. Such an interesting topic. And I believe energy healing is going to grow more and more mainstream in the near future. I know I'll be using it more in my life, and I will check in with you guys when I sign up for a workshop with Garze. Thank you so much for listening. And hey, have you subscribed yet? You can do that on our website under the subscribe tab. And while you're at it, you can join our woo-woo community too. Just enter your email on the homepage of our website, and you'll start to receive an email when we release new episodes, along with other news and announcements. And if you like us, we so appreciate a review on iTunes. Thank you to our producer, Tim Edwards, and the Inbound Podcasting Network. And thank you to our guest, Garz Chan. Get in touch. Send us a voice memo or email to soundmindbodypodcast@gmail.com. or connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or the web. Search for Sound Mind Body Podcast. I'm Sheila Melody. Join us next week as we explore, enlighten, and evolve.